divide and conquer, okay? Time-honored method, okay? Work with each one individually. Go to Talkspace. I mean, it's just like going crazy, right? It's just like, no, 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 you're crazy. You know, you're going to hurt yourself. You don't have to do this, you know. And so just talk, work with that. And images, you know, images of stabbing, okay, burning, grinding, torture, you know, it's like really and those are just the rational images. There's the hell realms, the archetypal images, where you start to like look into like the depths of hell and beings. You see like beings tortured and tormented all over the planet, and all sorts of archetypal. I mean, it's like really weird, and like former lives of having been tortured, and you know, it's just all but it's just image activity. And then there's fear and rage in feel space, and sad, poor me. That's still the hardest one for me to deal with. I could sort of deal with the fear and the anger stuff. That sad, poor me, that is so primitive. I remember that. Boy, that's the first feel I remember as a little baby, like poor me, sad, you know. So you get like the fear and the sad, and a kind of impatience, like an agitation, don't want to sit still kind of flavor, right? Like an antsy, what in Yiddish is called spilkus. Yeah, Setzen and spilkus, yeah. So those of you that know the language, it means pins and needles, like kind of thing. So you've got like, you know, at least three uncomfortable feels, and you got this crazy things going on in image and talk. And then you've got like the local and global pain, right? There's the local stab, burn, terror kind of stuff, and you know, it's like being beaten, like you get hit. You get like hit a whole bunch of times, bang, 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 and then it just like it ripples through the whole body. It's bang, bang, it's like bang, 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 and then it goes bang, 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 bang. Local and global, right? Bang, 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 and then it goes locally, like propagates through your body space, and subtle is significant. Those little pings, they're not nearly as intense as the local punches, but actually, that's where the bulk of the suffering is. So work locally, work globally, okay? Work in the touches. You know, zoom in, zoom out, sweep through it. Just throw everything I have at it. And we're only to the 3-hour point. There's another hour. The first time I did it, towards the end of the 4 hours, things started to break up a little bit. I know that's like, whoa, it's a long time. But doing it day after day after day after day, week after week after week after week, there was learning. See, it's not about how much you can endure. It's about how much you can learn from what you do endure. So, you know, just to somehow endure something, if you don't learn from it. By learning, I mean your cells don't learn. You know, if you don't retrain the body, then you just endured it. So it's better to go through something mild and have a clear learning experience than it is to somehow, you know, soldier through in a macho vein and somehow, well, I endured it. But if you didn't learn very much, what's the point? If you learn, though, it's worth it. So it's, if I telling this story, I'm realizing maybe it's not a good idea to tell stories like this, because people will think, well, gee, if that's what you have to go through, I think I'll take my enlightenment in a subsequent life. But the issue is not what It's not like, okay, you're going to have to go through shit like this if you want to get anywhere on this path. That's not what I'm implying. The issue is, what can you learn? And by the time I was up for 4-hour sits, I mean, I'd already had 20 years of meditation practice. This isn't, well, although actually when they started me in Japan, I had to go through things comparable, but not for 4 hours, okay? Maybe a couple hours. So I already had a lot of experience and had worked with these phenomena and so forth. So as I say, the important thing is what you learn. And learning is, some of it is intellectual, but primarily it's retraining your touch, feel, image, talk circuits so that they learn not to fight with themselves, because it's the fighting with this, it's the fixation around this that causes the suffering, not the intensity of the touch, feel, image, talk eruption. So anyway, what started to happen on a pretty regular basis by, after a few weeks of doing this every single day, is that it would sort of reach a certain intensity at the midpoint, and then it would like really dramatically break up. It didn't just get worse and worse and worse and worse endlessly. You think it's going to get worse and worse, but it's sort of, it's an inverted parabolic thing, okay? It sort of goes up, and then it like goes down. And what goes down is not the intensity of sensation. That just goes up. What goes down is the suffering. When you have an intensity of sensation and no suffering, you have a taste of purification. So there's actually a positive in that. It's not just an absence of the suffering, it's a presence of a kind of taste. I don't know how else to describe this. It's an awareness that because of how I'm experiencing this in this moment, every moment of my life to come will be different, more fulfilling. And the holdings that I have from the past are being broken up. It's a kind of knowing. I can't put it into words. It's a kind of knowing that the way that I'm experiencing this moment is cleaning out the past and creating a brighter future. I call it the taste of purification. Once that taste of purification comes on, you actually are getting a reward in this. And that's becomes a huge motivation to explore the edges of experience. So what eventually happened was that I came to know this territory so intimately that as soon as I would sit down, the pain would start, and at the same time, my thoughts would start and my emotions would start. They'd all start at the same time. The talk, image, and feel reacting to the growing touch. And as soon as they would start, they would just flow together. They'd flow together into an integrated arabesque of energy. And as the pain got bigger and bigger, and the thoughts and emotions arose more and more, it just got more and more and more integrated. So there was not an I, not so much of. There was still something of a sense of an I experiencing an it called pain, but not so much. Not so much as would ordinarily be, anyway, let's put it that way. There was a oneness between my thoughts and emotions representing the I and the pain representing the it. And they flowed together and gave this taste of purification.